Howdy everyone, welcome back to Wobble and Jaw Sports. If you're new around here, hope I can get you to consider to like the content and subscribe to the channel. But if you're a regular around these here parts, thank you very much for the continuous support. NRLW season 2024 kicks off on Thursday night. Let's get stuck into the first NRLW edition of the ASI Tips Show. NRLW season 2024 kicks off from McDonald Jones Stadium in Newcastle tomorrow night. On the Thursday night, the Knights, the back-to-back premiers, host the Eastern Suburbs, the Roosters. The Knights, they're coming into the game as the favourites, $1.60 to the Roosters, $2.35. I'm going to go through everyone in every single team list just for this weekend, just to get me head around it and get your head around things as well. So at fullback for Newcastle, the Dally M medalist from last season, Tamika Upton. Her partners in the back three, Sheridan Gallagher and Isabella Waterman. The centres, Shanice Parker, Abigail Roach, and the halves pairing is Georgia Roach and Jessie Southwell. Forward pack, Predabon, Higgins and Johnston Green. Up front, the back row is Albert Jones, Clydesdale and Southwell. That is a formidable starting forward pack. The interchange, Maynard, Romanuik, Butler and Grace Kukutai. The Sydney Roosters lineup, Isabel Kelly will be the fullback in this game. Unfortunately, Corbin Baxter did, I believe it was her ACL in the trial over a week ago now. So her season is done, unfortunately, which has that change of Isabel Kelly starting in the fullback slot. I don't remember the last time I've seen Isabel Kelly play fullback. I'm sure she's going to do it blindfolded. She'll do very well. So her partners in the back three, Maya Wood and Taina Naividi. The centres, Jessica Surgis and Jasmine Strange is the other centre. She comes up against her old side that she won a premiership with, 2 premierships with. And then the halves pairing, Jamie Frizzard and Taryn Aiken. The forward pack, Elliot Davis and Pani Hopewadi. The back row, Atessa Pule, Koenig and Aliyah Nasio. The interchange reads Kelleher, Lopamawa, Economos and Maya Hill Moana. It must be noted that Samantha Bremner has been named on the reserves in jersey number 20. She is coming out of retirement this year. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it'll be fantastic to see Sam Bremner go around again because she went out on an absolute high. She was at the peak of her powers when she retired. So to see her come back in, I'm sure she'll also do things blindfolded as well. Very difficult game to tip. The battle of the forward pack is worth price of admission alone. I know that Isabel Kelly, we all know Isabel Kelly is an absolute legend, a superstar. I just have not seen her play fullback. I do not recall the last time I saw her play fullback, so things might be a little bit out of sync potentially with some new faces out there on the wings as well. So I'm going to give the edge here to the Newcastle Knights. There's a great bit of value on the Roosters though, $2.35. It's good value. It's early round rugby league, so upsets are susceptible, but I'm going to go the Newcastle Knights here. Even though Ben Jeffries is the new coach for the Knights, I think there's going to be enough continuity to get the job done for Newcastle. 1-12 this Thursday. Oh, and yeehaw! Yeehaw, everyone! Sharks versus Cowboys, Saturday, 11 a.m. And on Sportsbet, it's the Sharks who are the favourites at $1.25. North Queensland are $4 outsiders. Bring it on. That's great value. The Sharks lineup is as follows. Taylor, Staples and Ravix, the back three. Penatani and Biddle, the centres. Tonagato and Preston, the halves pairing. That's a really solid backline. The forward pack, Johnston, Dodd and Wheeler. Holmes, Byers and Brooke Anderson, the back row. The interchange, Georgia Hanaway, Oh, wow, Georgia Hanaway, she was a standout for the Norths Devils in the BMD Premiership, and she's going to get her debut straight up in jersey 14. She is dangerous. Watch her go. Chloe Saunders, Vanessa Foliaki, and Tegan Dimmick. That is the Sharks lineup. Very solid. The North Queensland Cowboys, Goldthorpe, Blackwell, and Nakore, the back three. Whitfeld and Peters, the centres. Tillett and Dibb, the halves pairing. I look at the centres already and I see that Whitfield, Peters versus Penatani and Biddle. It's going to be power versus speed, and I cannot wait to see it. That's going to be one of the keys to this game. And then the forward pack is Harden, Wheel, and that player, Manselman. Best hooker in the game, in my opinion. The back row, China Palata, Tiana Rathstrand-Smith, and Bree Chester. Not overly, but it is a new looking back row compared to last season. Bree Chester, the most improved player in the BMD Premiership this year. She has gone to another level in the space of 8 months. She's been fantastic. Tiana Rathstrand-Smith was absolutely destroying souls before she copped an injury about halfway through the Queensland Premiership. And then China Palata, while she did return to first grade the other week in a trial game, this is her first fair dinkum hit out, and look, she will be rusty, but I'm going to be giving her time. Everyone should give China Palata a bit of time. I think maybe this will be the home for her in the second row. The interchange, Alicia Ford, magnificent in the BMD Premiership. Lily Peacock, just as good. Harata Butler was very underrated for her work that she did for the Brisbane Tigers in the BMD Premiership. And then S.A. Banu, just her second game of NRLW will come this weekend. She is going to tally up a lot of games in 2024, I think. Interesting, Shania Power, Sarika Muka, left out on the reserves list. It was always going to be a factor, or it was always going to be felt that there was going to be a big name that was going to be left out of this first 17 for the season, and it's Power and Muka that have been left on the reserves. So that is a credit to our depth for sure. As I said, I think in the battle of the centres, it's speed versus power. For the forward pack, looking at it closely, I think that the same could be said as well. I think we're just a little bit more mobile than what the Sharks are, but that means they're going to be bigger, a little bit more heavy hitting, I suppose. But the X factor, the key is the 14s. Georgia Hanaway and Alicia Ford were outstanding in 2024 in the BMD Premiership. So for them to come on, watch this space. That's going to be a crucial matchup. I'm going the North Queensland Cowboys. There's always upsets in the first couple of rounds. This can be one of them. It will be one of them. Cowboys 1-12 down at PointsBet Stadium this Saturday. Go you Cowboys! On the same day, at Saturday, 12:45 kickoff from Suncorp Stadium, Brisbane host Parramatta. On Sportsbet, Broncos are $1.16. The Eels are $5 outsiders. Into the team lists for the Broncos, first of all, Maddock, Robinson, and Spreadborough are the back three. Bree Spreadborough represented in the Women's National Championships back in the month of April for Queensland, and she's got some power. Her core strength is very good. She's been a standout for a couple of years now, so it's good to see her getting another call up. And Robinson and Maddock, they just keep on keeping on. Hufanga and Dam are the centres. Skylar Adams and Ali Brigginshaw, the halves pairing. Skylar Adams made her Queensland Under-19s debut last year, and such was her form in the BMD Premiership that she got chucked into the squad for the Maroons in this past State of Origin series. So for Broncos fans, or just for NRLW fans or casuals that haven't heard or seen the name of Adams, she's very crafty indeed. The forward pack, Aneta Claudia Nuasala, Brianna Clark and Jada Ferguson. That's the front row. And then the back row is Denman, Teitzel and Keely Joseph, the new recruit coming from the eastern suburbs. That is a seriously hard-hitting work rate like back row. That might be the best back row in the comp. Just about. The interchange reads Gould, Lenarduzzi, Rapana and Fogafini. Isn't that interesting that Tasman Rapana is starting off the bench this weekend? I don't think that'll be for every game, but we move into the team list now for the Parramatta Eels, who will be chomping at the bit for a victory this weekend after collecting the wooden spoon in 2023. Church, Fay and Donovan, the back three. Church is an absolute goer. Absolute goer. The centres, admittedly, I don't know too much about these ladies, but Rory Owen and Rosie Kelly are the centres. And the halves pairing, Casey Tohi Hiku and Rachel Pearson. On their day, if they switch on and if their forward pack is good enough, they could be good enough to get a couple of wins this season more. The forward pack, Albert, Cherrington and Madeline Jones. The back row is Boss, Kapua, Mahalia Murphy and Kennedy Cherrington. The interchange, Todd Hunter, Amiatu, Fanua and Ruby Jean Kennard Ellis in jersey 17. I've got to go the Brisbane Broncos here. It is a little bit of an unknown, the Parramatta Eels lineup, just quietly. There's still, I can still see talent there, there's skill there, but looking over to the other side, I feel like in me bones that Broncos are going to be in for one hell of a year this year. Brisbane are going to win this game 1-12. Moving into the Sunday games, and the first match kicks off from midday at WIN Stadium in Wollongong. The Dragons host the Titans, and on Sportsbet, it's the Dragons who are outsiders at $2.60, whereas the Gold Coast Titans are $1.50 favourites. Shifting into the team lists, Berry, Fotu Mawala and Vela are the back three. Brown and Law, Bobby Law, the centres. The halves pairing is Hopkins and Racine McGregor. The forward pack, Tiakaranga Katoa, Sophie Clancy and Jamie Lee Bright. The back row, Lendl, Basham and Tawania. And then the interchange, Casey Ray, under 19s State of Origin breakout star, Sautia Wilson and Steph Hancock in jersey 17. Going into the Titans now, this Titans lineup is pretty rock solid. Politi, Brown and Bass, the back three. The centres, Chapman and Williams Guthrie. The halves pairing, Fui Mayono and Lauren Brown. Fui Mayono missed 98% of the season last year, and I think she's going to be absolutely rip-roaring ready to rock and roll come kickoff this weekend. And Lauren Brown is maybe arguably the most in-form female player in all of rugby league. Just about everything she touches is the Midas touch at the moment. The forward pack, Marto, Brearley Nati and Elliston. The back row, Canfield, Bent and Hale. The interchange, Colch, Jorgensen, Parisi and Laker Clark. Obviously, Steph Hancock coming up against her old side from last season. Both these sides are not completely at full strength, especially the Titans. Shante Kirioratu, Sienna Lafipo, Destiny Mino-Sinapati. These young players for the Titans really helped them keep their heads above water when the likes of Fumi Mayono was missing throughout injury. And now those three players are missing. It just means that their top crop, the Titans are just going to have to put in, but they will. This one definitely has a sniffet of an upset. I think the Dragons last season, they were incredibly plucky. They were very brave throughout, so they're not going to be easy beats, but this Titans side is outstanding, and signs point toward them making the finals again in 2024. And they did go down to Kogarah last year and just pip Dragons in a really, really good game. I think they're going to do it again here, but this time in Wollongong. I'm going to say the Titans win this game in a close one, 1-12. And finally, the last game of round number one is the Tigers versus the Raiders out at Campbelltown Stadium. It is $1.90 each way. Going into the team list for the Tigers now, Bo Vetty Welsh, Harmony Crichton, and Tess Staines. They are the back three. The centres, Leanne Tufanga and Rakia Horn are the centres. The halves pairing is Pilier Rasabale and Lutu. The forward pack, Togatuki, Nua and Pio. The back row, Apps, McGlone and George. The interchange, Curtin, Ranky, Penatani and Talatana. Shifting into the Raiders, Nichols, Bartlett and Dummett, I should say. The back three, Robbins Retty and Wiki are the centres. Tamara and Quinlan, the halves pairing. The forward pack, Kelly Signs, Tamara and Sophie Hollyman starts. In jersey 10, Soliola, Dodd and Taufa are the back row. The interchange reads Barnes, Kemp, Matua and Nato Katoka. And fair dinkum, you may as well flip a coin. I think Sportsbet have got this right when it comes to $1.90 each way. I look at the halves pairing and it's very much the old blood versus the new blood. It's veterans versus youth. Pilier Resabale and Lutu being the youth. Lusana Lutu was a part of the New South Wales Under-19s Origin team last season. She's had a lot of good raps on her and she did make her NRL debut last year, but it seems like her time is now, and I'm sure she's going to take it with both hands. So, yeah, that's definitely going to be the key to it all. But how are they going to do with their forward packs? And I think I look at the forwards for the Tigers, and whilst admittedly I'm not too sure about who their hooker is, Apps, McGlone, they played in the BND Premiership. So they've got a little bit of rust off of them. The likes of a Mona Lisa Soliola, a Samaima Taufa, even though Taufa is an immortal just about in waiting, they might be a little bit rusty. I feel like that there is a little bit more in the legs of the Tigers forward pack. It's very dead even. It's very dead even. Barnes and Kemp, however, for the interchange for the Raiders, they played Queensland Cup and Origin respectively. Tara Ranky was the captain for the Clydesdales in the BMD Premiership. I'm just thinking out loud here if you can't half tell. Bloody hell, I'll tell you what, this Harmony Crichton on the wing for the Tigers is the younger sister of Stephen Crichton for the Bulldogs. Holy smokes, if Harmony Crichton is as talented and as skillful as Stephen Crichton, don't the West Tigers have an absolute superstar on their hands? Holy smokes. My gut is telling me I should tip the Tigers for an upset win. My head's telling me the Raiders, though, just because they were a little bit more in form, but oh man, bugger it. This is a flip of the coin, and I'm just going off a whim here. I'm going to say the West Tigers get the home win this weekend. Yo guys, thank you very much for tuning in, checking out this episode of the A-Side Tip Show. Hope you enjoyed it. Please go and check out my interview that I did with NRLW Cowboys player S.A. Banu. That's live on the channel now. And keep in mind that next week for NRLW Round 2, the last game of the round sees the Cowboys host the Dragons. The Mad Dragon is making the Wobble and Jaw debut. We're collaborating for the first time ever, so I'm terribly excited about that. There's plenty of really cool things coming up as well in the not too distant future, so stay tuned, and thank you again for all your support. Thank you. Enjoy the weekend. Talk to you later. Adios.